guys ready? Are you ready? Yeah? All right. Hi, everybody. This is Graham Pace for Druthers News and Information, and I'm joined here with Nick and Violet Wallace. Hi, guys. So you guys have a book. You guys wrote a book together.
Yeah.
It's called Who We Are.
Called Who We Are.
Look at this. This is unbelievable. This is
Our
great.
Our illustrator is right here, and co-author.
Hello.
Yeah, she's great. She's been the illustrator, the co-author, co-creator. She's going to help present with me at a book launch. We got a book launch coming up July 9th.
Where's the book launch happening?
It's the Sarnia Library, the theater upstairs. It's on a Sunday at 2:30 p.m.
Wow, that's going to be great. So, what?
Sorry. We hired a band as well.
Band?
A band's coming. We're going to make it fun for the kids. The band is pretty cool, so if you got instruments, like bring them. They'll probably let you play with them. It's going to be a good time, yeah.
So what's the band's name? Let's give them a shout out.
Oh, yeah, right. Deep Southwest.
Deep Southwest.
Yeah, Deep Southwest. They're from Chatham. It's a husband and wife duo. They're really good, yeah.
Perfect. And what kind of genre of music do they?
It's funny. They're a classic country, which the first time I heard them, I didn't know I liked that genre of music. But the whole vibes wasn't just my face smiling. It was every cell in my body was smiling. Everybody in the audience loved them. They're great. They got some cool instruments. I'm hoping that Vi can bring some instruments and play with them, to be honest.
So, Violet, do you play any instruments?
I play the piano.
You play the piano.
And,
What's it called again?
well, you play the drums well. I actually talk about that. I'll talk about that because when she wants to clear her head and get those thoughts out, she smashes the drums up, literally like a rock star. She's fantastic. She's good when she does that.
Wow. So this book, how did it come around?
Well, the book was brewing in me, I think, for a few years. Basically, the division within what seems like what's within society, and then you finally realize that division starts within you. And that was a self-realization where I allowed myself to go somewhere that I really didn't want to go. And once you're there and you see yourself there, when the awareness just says, "Hello, this is where you're at," it changed me. And a few years went by, and I started jotting and journaling a little bit. And then I put together kind of the bones of the book, which was like 24 pages. And I thought I'd give my first draft to Vi here because a young little spirit with not a lot cluttering the mind. She was, you were 6 when we started.
6 years old when she started.
Yeah.
How old are you now, Violet?
7.
7.
Yeah, 7.
Well, a year or two.
So yeah, she was 7.5. So yeah, we started last September. So it's nearly a year. And when I gave her the book, I'd read the first page. Should I give you the first
Sure,
page?
let's give everybody at home a teaser.
Okay. Well, I'll just go. So it's called Who We Are. Here we go. It's like, Who We Are. And there's hearts on every page because that's the one thing we leave out a lot. So do you want to do it, Vi, or me?
You.
Me, okay. Once upon a time, we were formed through our parents, who were formed through their parents, who were formed through the earth. And the reason I say that is I think we feel disconnected from the earth by what we do with it, with the environment. By the environment, I guess what I mean by that, I don't know how far to go with it, but we live in an industrial town. Well, maybe
Sarnia, Ontario.
Yeah, Sarnia, Ontario. I mean, I worked in there for 20, 25 years, but I just think today we're a little bit excessive with everything we buy. We're very materialistic. It's becoming like to keep ourselves happy, we'll buy this and get the next model. And so we're just making more and more and more here. But so then costs go up and all these things that happen as a result. I'm just saying we came through this earth. We belong here as much as every other species, as all the trees. So I just want to remind people we were actually formed through the earth as a piece of nature.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So we are one of millions of other beautiful creatures sharing this playground called Earth. The Earth is like a garden, playground, and spaceship all in one. And between Vi and I, we came up with those. Like the garden where we get our food, the playground, 'cause this is where we live. Yeah, then I got little things at the bottom of each page, some little tips. So this one, this one's a heart-shaped spaceship.
So, Violet, did you draw this?
Oh,
Did you draw that?
Yes, but a very long time ago.
yeah, yeah. She's good, eh? She's really good, yeah.
I'm gonna bring this up to this.
Okay.
So we can get a shot.
Yeah,
of this.
yeah, yeah.
Look at this, everybody. Look at this, folks. Okay.
Cool, thanks, yeah.
And I draw way different now.
Yeah, sure.
Draw way different now.
Different.
So it just says at the bottom, did you know that we all travel around the sun once a year? The Earth moves at over 106,000 kilometers an hour while spinning at over 1,600 kilometers an hour. Pretty cool. I did the calcs and it is online too, the NASA, you can find that. What do you think powers it all? Do you think it helps power us too? So this is the kind of stuff Vi and I would talk about as we're making the book. We'd put little tips in. And the book is not just for kids, eh? Like I say, the book's good from, well, I was saying 5 to 99, but I'd like to say 2 to 99. Yeah, Vi wants to go in the...
You want to go play in the water?
So next page, you began as an act of faith when you left your mom's tummy to enter a much bigger world. So be faith in all that you do. Faith recognizes an intelligence available to us that washes fear away. We are an intelligent life form made up of 3 energy bodies, body, mind, and spirit. And then the little guy at the bottom's on a unicycle. Says, my breath, thoughts, and awareness, that's your body, mind, and spirit, my breath, thoughts, and awareness in the right balance deeply improves my overall well-being and talents. And that says, look at me on the...
Wow.
So then we go into 3 chapters. We've got one on the body and to show the actual life of the body.
Okay.
Like the cells and everything that it does for you. We talk about breathing and how the breathing can help breathe the worries out, get that breath in balance. Vi made me put a joke in there. I'll save that
Nice.
for the book launch. And we got a little section on mind. So mind's here. So mind, it says it's an intelligence that communicates your thoughts with your body and spirit. So again, we have to keep that in balance, not too active. And we just go through different examples, like how you can, how the mind and body is tied together.
Perfect. That's very important for youngsters to.
Yeah.
To
So
realize.
we do examples. Like we'll do an example where you say bad things about yourself or you think bad things about yourself. And then you'll say good things about yourself. You look at how you feel.
No, this good, then it goes bad.
Okay, good, then bad. And then you test your strengths doing those things. And then we have
When you
a bit on
say bad,
spirit.
when you say bad, it doesn't make you feel right.
Yeah. Because it's an untruth.
You believe in positive thinking, don't you?
Yeah, like once I read the bad stuff, then I have to read the good stuff again.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Well, because it's an untruth, right? If you identify as an untruth, that's spirit inside saying you're not living your truth.
It's true.
And that's what's happening today. Is not many are living their natural truth. And like I got some papers here. I wrote a lot out.
Sure. Let's dive a little bit more into the meat and the potatoes, I guess, of the book.
Thank you. Yeah. So the rationale for the book, I want to clarify that it's not about me and Vi.
Sure.
It's about whoever reads it, whatever their life experience was, that's what's going to pop out at them. So it's not a book about us, I wanted to say. It's about humanity. It's about everybody. It's what I feel is missing in the world, and that the book is there to help fill that need. So again, I say the world right now is divided, fearful, confusing, and looking for answers. We tend to look to others to save us as we were taught to follow our rule-based culture. And I'll go into that a little bit more. But I want us to look at within a bit with the help of this book to see our inner world of breath, thoughts, and awareness that is expressed in our outer world. So eventually what's going on in here is what we see out there, and that's kind of what I want to get into. So I think it all starts when a child's born.
Okay.
So at least when Vi was born, this was me.
Tell me the story about the baby.
The
And
ba-
how they get so much love, and then when they become a toddler, they get like, you don't do that, you don't do
Well,
that.
we will. We're going to get into that. You see, what she was just saying was when you're a baby, you get all the love in the world, right? And
It's true.
You do anything for them. You're on your hands and knees for them. And then Vi would go through the different stages, jumping in muddy puddles. We would do it together, right? We would, when she went into dolls, we played with dolls. Like I never stopped. I got to be at Vi's level. I can't say no. So, but there comes a time, and I think they call it terrible twos, but it's not terrible twos. That's the time we parents would start saying, no, that you can't do that. Don't pick your nose and don't run over there and don't, you got to share your toys and all these things we socialize. But when we socialize them, we're basically saying, you're not good enough as you are, and we're no longer your fairy godmother. So I felt like a fairy godmother in a way, because what I like to say is when you become when they're born, they basically, they want you to take care of them, they want you to love them, they want you to let them be who they are. And we can let them discover who they are.
That's right. That's very important.
It's very important, yeah.
Instead of being told, belief systems and everything else.
All that too, yeah, all the belief systems, leave it out. So I like to say that when a baby is born, we move onto their island. So we leave this chaotic mainland, whatever's going on, and we say, I'm with you. We live on their island. But I think that happens until about the age of 2. And the age of 2, it's like they're in the school system. You want to make sure that they're sharing. You want to make sure that you make sure that, don't run too fast, don't do this.
Follow the rules.
And it's like to an extreme case where out of safety or out of trying to protect the child from any learning experiences and seeing how fast they can run, and we basically hold them back so they don't get hurt and we don't have to deal with someone being hurt. And it's more of a convenience. And we kind of short circuit their learning process, and I think it starts at the age of 2. So, yeah, so what I wrote here was terrible. I think terrible twos is the child revolting at her parents' transformation back into a social economic being. Because we step out of that world to go in their world, but we go back too quick, right? And then we force them to go in. Because then I got, at this time around 2, children receive rewards for not being themselves and receive punishments for being themselves, right? So it's the reward system. We'll give you this if you do something, or you can't have that toy if you do that.
That's right. But
But if inside they haven't got to that stage to know what you're anticipating, just let them get there, right? And I think today's world is very controlling with the kids and doesn't let them be themselves.
some of the books and everything else that we're seeing in the school systems now that they're putting in, it's like they say, it's grooming the children.
And that's a false identity.
Once I saw this sign in my school, like near the gym, there's this bathroom, and there was this picture of a half boy, half girl.
Half boy, half girl.
Yeah, so there was this human, half of it looked like a boy, the other half looked like a girl.
Yeah, so what I don't like about that is we're making a young child look at herself as an identity of the body. But a young child is more spirit than we are. They haven't lost yet. They only lose the spirit, the captain of the ship. They lose that captain, which I call the spirit, when we force them to do things they don't want to do, right? But that captain is their inner self. That's their inner awareness, and they're trying to keep themselves happy, right? So when they start doing these things with kids and bathrooms and gender identities and race identities, what you're saying is you're totally ignoring the inner awareness of a child, and you're telling them, be aware of this instead. So you're trying to fit into a culture that's beyond you because you're a young age. And it's just
coming into
yourself. At best, it's going to confuse them, or because they don't want to seem silly, they're just going to be silent and go along and get along, or go along with it. But it wouldn't have come from that inner awareness that sees everything as life. We're now seeing people as a body. We're seeing people as a gender, as a race, as a color. But they don't do that when they're young.
No.
But we bring that to them.
That's learned.
That's learned.
Taught.
It's taught, yeah. So, hang on, Tara. Oh yeah, she's reading. Violet's reading it. I didn't read my thank you, Violet, and thanks for being here today. But you saw it. So children lose their fairy godmother typically at 2. That terrible 2s is really a symptom reacting to us, and I think that's something we can work on as parents. We threaten them with loss of rights, so either go to your room, you're not getting your dessert, you're going to lose your toy, and all I'm saying here is that's kind of comparison is it sounds a bit like the Economic Forum. It's
Sure does. Ultimatums.
Yeah, obey and do as you're told, or you're going to lose your rights and privileges and possessions. But it starts at 2, and that's what I wanted to express, right?
Perfect.
So I want the kids to know they are fine as they are. Coercion doesn't feel right for kids, nor did it for us. And it still doesn't if we're willing to look at it. We want nothing to own us, and we'll be happy. We want to be the captain of our own ship.
It's true.
That's true, and we should be, right? After all, we're a human being.
We are.
Yeah.
Born free, supposedly.
Well, that's the only approval we need as a human being. We don't need someone to approve you as a human being.
Right.
So if we lose the helm too long of our ship, I'm saying the mind splits, and it splits to gain control. So if a child feels she's unloved and has to be a certain way or she won't be loved, because at age 2 they probably do, that mind's going to think, I won't survive without my mom or dad. I won't survive without them. So it splits to keep them happy, right? So that's, I think, where the first division we see. And once division starts in us, it grows each time we lie to ourselves.
So true.
Yeah. Each time we lie to ourselves, each time we lie to agree with somebody, each time we say, oh yeah, everything is normal, every time we do, we become more and more divided until finally you either explode or you come through to sanity, right? So
This sounds like a
Yeah.
very important message that you're going to be delivering in this book.
the message is in the book, but I don't talk anything like this in the book.
For sure, but it's...
The book is fun, it's friendly, but again, only your experience will be drawn out of the book. My experience is what I'm saying here.
Yes.
But what you get in here are the simple truths that they're truths. They'll feel right when you read it. Right? So, yeah. So I also say that I like to view kids as the first person on earth. Because when they're born, they must feel like the first person on earth. They got a mental capacity that doesn't know a thing, so I got to discover everything, right?
Everything's new.
Everything is new. And we can jump to this example maybe. This little one found a spray paint can not long
Oh,
ago.
a spray paint can, did you?
We were spraying this, but before she grabs a yellow spray paint can, and what did you spray?
My slide.
She sprays her slide, right?
You sprayed your slide?
But it looked more like a graffiti line, and she walked away. And when I saw it, I said, oh, that's what you did. And Vi's little head went down, and I thought, I'll be aware. So I thought, if she'd never used a paint can before, and she says, oh, that's how it works, well, then she learned the lesson. But we got to finish it. We got to paint the rest of the slide like that. So that's what we said. We can finish the paint job, but she knows how it works. But it's just something simple.
That
But
was the first time I've used one.
well, right, first time
Like-
you used it.
So how did you like using the paint can?
It's fun.
Yeah, it's fun. but this is what I mean. But we
I spray paint everything.
but they're not being bad. Like a kid's not trying to display bad.
It's not something new she discovered.
Right. So the paint isn't something bad. The even the rebelling against the parents because they're I'm talking the young age. So when you start at 2 and you get rebellion, it's a symptom of you. It's not a symptom of anything else, of school, of other things like that. Yeah, we all came to experience life and have fun. That's why I had Vi. But we forget that becoming our hectic, insecure world. Nature is so intelligent. Look around you, and so are nature's kids. Like there is a natural inborn intelligence if we can let them just be with themselves and be with their experience and be with their feelings.
For sure.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'll go a little bit more. The consciously in the mind, we don't actually know when we split in 2, but we feel it. And the heart feels like it's being wrenched, right? The body doesn't feel good. Body, mind, spirit, we feel either lost or upset, right? But we don't know that the mind is splitting, like the way I'm saying happens. We don't know that. But it happens. The reason that I have a little bit about this in the book, that when we focus on something, we liven up. It's like getting a magnifying glass and making it bigger. So when you focus on a bad thought, an unhappy thought,
Yes, you're magnifying that.
it's a magnifying
Yes.
glass. So when you focus intensely, you're magnifying it. And that makes it bigger, that makes it worse, that makes the feeling worse. Because you don't realize that you've become that feeling. You're consumed by it with so much focus. So in the book, we talk about focus versus watchfulness. So if you watch something, like watching a TV show you don't care about, it doesn't really impact you, right? but so if you were to watch the feeling and just allow the feeling, if you can allow it, right? And naturally that intelligence of nature that's within you will help work you through that feeling without making you lash out, run away, all the other things that happen. And if you can't watch the feeling, then you can always watch your breath. That's the old meditation style, watch your breath, right? So watching your breath, yeah, Vi knows the different thing.
Yeah?
Yeah. You just went But all those things you do to take yourself out of the busy, focused part of the mind and put you back into your right brain, creative, loving side of your mind, right? So the book talks a little bit about that, but a little bit more simply. What I want to say, yeah, I guess we just forget that often that we are the invisible part of us. We suppress that to keep everybody happy.
For sure.
Right? So that's what I say. Diversity needs to embrace invisible, natural, evolving consciousness. That starts off as inner awareness, and is the essential part of us that our five senses can't see. It is who we are. But society doesn't acknowledge this very well today.
Well, they want to dictate.
No, they do. They do.
That has to stop, and hopefully with youngsters reading books like these that you're putting out.
I think it does start with the youngsters, and it also starts with the parents being willing to let the youngsters be themselves. And once you can say, hey, I'm letting them be themselves, well, you better act yourself because your kid wants you to be yourself. But when you're too busy trying to make them be a certain way, it never works, right? There's always some division because you're not accepting one or the other.
That's right.
And that's the part I want to get to, because it's true. Like even in society today, we got a lot of people, but we don't still have that unity, do we?
We don't. We really don't.
We don't. And I think
it's all division.
It's all division because if we focus too much on everything they're throwing at us, which might be part of it, like if they keep throwing things for us to focus on, you're constantly magnifying the problem. You're constantly feeding back into that, we'll say, collective intelligence that is a part of us, so it knows everything that's going
true.
on. And you're feeding back into the side that you don't want to grow. And that's kind of what helped the book come out too, was it let me see what was wrong with the world. I said, what don't I like about the world? And I thought, well, how can I help it? Right? And by trying to help it, it changed me too, because I spent all my focus on this, and I spent a lot of time focusing on awareness and how I was being a parent with Vi, and it made me a better person, and it's hopefully helping the world and other parents, and it's just everybody does that little thing.
Are you familiar with the two wolves that are inside of everybody?
Yes, yeah. That's here, let me show you. That's in the back of the book.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's right after the back of the book. I have some things for older kids, some things how they can surrender the past, all their trouble.
Okay.
Come back to present, come back to life. Yeah, I do, and there it is right there. So this is at the very back of the book. There's a couple of pages, and it says one evening.
You should show it closer.
What? Pardon?
I think you should show this closer.
Oh, it's okay. We'll read it, darling. One evening, an elderly man told his grandson about a battle that goes on inside people. My dear one, the battle between two wolves is inside us all. One is ego, which is anger, jealousy, regret, guilt, greed, self-pity, resentment, and lies. The other is spirit, which is joy, peace, love, kindness, empathy, generosity, and truth. The grandson thought about it for a moment and then asked his grandfather, which wolf wins? The old man replied, the one you feed the most, right?
That's beautiful. It's so true too, isn't it?
Yeah. I think this is a native.
It is, yes.
A native one, but yeah, so that's good. It's the one we feed the most, and we definitely have to, when we feel stuck in trouble or stuck in our mind and it's exhausting us and it's running us down, and like even for all the freedom fighters, all those people, you're going to get run down when they keep throwing it at you and throwing it at you.
Negativity after negative, it's so much, and people can only take so much.
They can only take so much, so go to the playground with your kid. Like, they know how to have fun. If they were the prime ministers and presidents, you would fix everything with more playtime, because it would get you out of your head, right? It would get you out of your head. So yeah, or even the other thing I would do is I'd make drawings for Vi. This is what I did earlier. if I felt stressed out about different things in society, if I got to the sketches and drew her a picture, I felt awesome, and it did something for her. But we got to get that balance.
That's true.
We got to get the book doesn't talk. Book talks about balance, but that's just one other way I tried to find balance, right? Yeah, I know. What else was I going to say? Yeah, so a question for the audience: do you think love, support, and a challenging environment help us reach our full potential? I do. Nature leads us as a part of nature, while society and government lead us as a part of society. But without aligning our man-made actor social cultural self with our nature-made essential self, that captain, if we don't align the social self with the captain, your essential self, the social policies, there's always going to be division. So the social policies will always create division. But now it's being magnified and for other alternative reasons, which I don't get into in the book. But those reasons have taken a society who's vulnerable, already divided, already is obedient, started at 2 years old, and it's just a little bit of fear, a little bit of this. This is what we go through our whole life.
It's true.
Right? But if you look inside and find the untruths, like you can find many untruths out in society. You can find all kinds of things they keep throwing at you to keep you in that vibe.
Negative zone, and that's why everything that we see in the newspapers or in the media, it's negative.
You can look at all that too, but look at the untruths inside of you. And when you find an untruth inside of you, every time you fix it, you remove that piece of that division. A piece of you comes back. I'm becoming more whole. And the more whole we are, the more caring or helpful we'll be in society, the more unified it will get, right? For whatever society needs, not just to fix the problems that are created for us, but for what we actually need as a humanity. Yeah. So unconscious inner division, that what we create inside breeds the unconscious social division. So today acceptance appears conditional, and thus a deeper mental split happens every time we try to find safety and belonging. Our new book shows that we all naturally belong as a human being. We need no other approval, permissions, or modifications. We can show our kids that they belong by standing under their feelings, like understanding them, to not stand above them. Mm-hmm. Stand under their feelings and their beliefs, and at the level they are at, not standing over them not standing over them in our beliefs. So like I said before, I don't think bad behavior exists, that they exhibit. They just want to remain the captain. Yeah, I've got all that. Sorry. Can I say a couple funny examples? We already talked about the paint.
Sure.
But this example, I think it's funny. Mm-hmm. The first time I heard somebody say something to Violet, like, don't do that. You remember what you were doing? She was picking her nose, right?
I know who that was.
Were you picking your nose?
But I was...
Maybe 2?
2? 3?
2. I think you're 2. So somebody from across the room or house yells out, Violet, stop picking your nose. And I leaned in to Violet. I whispered in her ear. I said, Violet, you're not picking your nose, are you? You're cleaning it. And she looks at me and goes, yeah, she's so excited. She yells out, Mommy, I'm not picking my nose. I'm cleaning it. But if you were a kid and you had something that hurt, you're like, what is that? Of course you're going to stick your finger up your nose. But if we're constantly trying to find something wrong with them and correct them so they can be the pillar of society, we short circuit them. And that's one funny thing.
Daddy, did you ever pick your nose?
Yes. Oh, here's the other funny thing. When she had it on her finger, where did I tell you to put it?
On my sock.
I said, put it on your sock.
And then put it on yours.
And she put
And
it
she
on
put it
mine.
on your
I know.
Well, guess what? I used to pick my nose too when I was your age. I think everybody does.
I got a little section here I wrote.
Sure.
Another way well-intentioned parents negatively change the view of kids' worlds is when they keep the old images of the kids stuck in their head. I got like changing nappies, seeing them fall down. I remember Vi used to get her arms stuck between the wooden slats on the kitchen table, on the chair, trying to reach through it. If we keep thinking all those things with outdated images in our head.
Was that like when I was 5 or 6?
Probably even younger. You used to get your hand stuck in the baby gate too. Your arm would get stuck in there. But if we keep those images in our head and limit them for all our risk aversion, it's another way we short circuit their growth, right? So there's an acronym I found for fear.
Sure.
Fear was what was it? Future events appearing real, right? And that's often what we do. We limit their ability to learn because of our fear. That's very, very common. So, yeah, I don't think nature is dysfunctional or intolerant, so it must be our culture. Because in our culture today, it is very dysfunctional, and authorities are very intolerant, whether it's a hospital or school boards or if you look at kids, you want them to grow up healthy. I know, it's good.
Look at that.
So, like the dysfunctions in our food, we got GMO food, right? GMO food, chemically grown with carcinogens, right? And it's to kill the pests, but we eat it. It's DNA changing the food.
All the processed food, it's terrible what we're eating now. That's why cancer and everything else is it's skyrocketing.
That's dysfunctional. That shouldn't be in our society.
No.
All the things, if it doesn't allow a child to grow up healthily from age 0 or in the womb, if it doesn't allow them to grow up healthily, we shouldn't be doing it. But because we're an economic being, because more than that, it's
Well, it's like look at the cereal, for instance. It's putting Tony the Tiger, like imagery that kids appeal to. All right, it's all sugar. It's not healthy for them to eat this stuff. Who knows what's in some of this stuff? Heavy metals and whatnot. So
it's poison. It's not good.
yes,
Yeah.
and they're pushing it on the kids, and the kids come up, "Mommy, Daddy, I want the."
Yeah. Well, same as our technology. That's pushed on kids. So in Vi's class, they have smart boards and all, Wi-Fi, all that stuff. Ah, she fell in. You got to get this on camera.
Does someone fall in? Is somebody all wet?
That's good. Give Grant a hug.
Go give Uncle Phil a hug.
But the technology too. I mean, the technology, that's addictive, just like the sugar's addictive. So we give them stuff that's no good for them. It's really an experiment, right? The medical system, that's another experiment. Everything today is very abnormal. And I'm saying is if you don't want the abnormalness, then start with yourself. Get rid of all your untruths, because once you don't accept an untruth within you, you won't accept one untruth from Gov, But as long as you're willing to lie to yourself and lie to others and not care, you're divided. And you're going to stay in that side of your mind.
And that's exactly where the government and everybody else wants us. They want division,
But so if we work on ourselves and you get rid of all the untruths within you and you stop telling lies, you won't accept one from somebody else. And too many people are sitting there saying, well, what can I do? What can I do? They're living, you just look in your heart first. And you find out, get rid of the stuff that shouldn't be there, and then you'll be driven naturally by nature herself. She'll steer you where you got to go. You don't have to come up with the plan yourself on what to do, but get rid of the untruths inside. I think we're limiting humanity's potential, to be honest, because now we're messing with our DNA, right? We shouldn't be doing that. We should have never been asked to do that. It's even going farther. I don't know if I should say it, and even in front of Vi, but I've seen websites where they're trying to create their own birthing process outside of a woman, right? That's the most unnatural human being. This is things that these technology people are trying to do, Vi. So Violet's a natural human being. You're happy to be a natural human being. Every child, we all should be a natural human being, and we should be allowed to be and act within our own limits and find our own limits. And that's
not be forced to be genetically modified.
Exactly, yeah. There's another thing I want to say about Vi. One thing, I guess it's still more parenting. I focus on kids, eh?
Sure.
I did the school board meeting with the Lambton Kent School Board. I had a lot of people show up to help me with that. So my focus is on kids. That's why I'm talking a lot about that. But there's one example where something happened. Vi was 5 or 6, and something happened with her emotionally. And I might have said something too that wasn't right after it happened. But she took her stuffy and she whacked me over the head with it, right? I was sitting on the couch. She was kind of kneeling on the floor. But that big eye on the stuffy, that hard plastic eye.
Hard plastic, yeah.
Like it hurt. Like but the first thing Vi said was, "It's an accident." And I thought, that wasn't an accident. I watched you wind up and she like really did it.
Killed you.
She did it. And she said again, "But Daddy, it was an accident." And I thought, no way. I got to tell her this was not an accident. I saw you do it. I saw you pick it up. But then about 20 minutes later, so she goes up to her room all upset. She was crying. And I thought, what's going on, right? She says it's an accident. And then I realized, and that became part of the book. When you become that feeling so strongly within you, you identify as it. So that captain disappears on its own. You're now the identity of that feeling. So when she picked that up and chucked it as if she wanted to get rid of the feeling, she didn't witness herself do it. But when I'm like, Vi, that hurt, and now she felt guilty. So about 20 minutes later, I'm like, Vi, it was an accident. She's like, no, it wasn't, Daddy. I'm like, no, Vi, it was an accident. That's what honestly came out of you. But it's again.
Well, she didn't mean to hit you with the hard part.
Well, not even, it doesn't matter hard part or not. She got so sucked into that feeling that she became it. And that's what I want to say that we don't see in society enough, is we become our feelings. We think they're real. So we rely on the split mind to save us. And when we do that, our heart's out of the picture. So we're going to screw up.
Yes.
Because our heart is the nature-connected piece, right?
Yes.
Or the right brain side is the nature-connected, the creative side.
Okay.
But the fearful side, the logical side, the judgmental side, and you suck yourself into that, spirit now animates your fear. And when you act it out, you're not witnessing it. You're not aware of it. It might sound weird. The book will explain it in dead simple terms of awareness, feelings, and getting sucked in. Here's something I printed off today. It says nearly 1 in 4, this is Canada, nearly 1 in 4 hospitalizations for children and youth aged 5 to 24 were for mental health conditions in 2020.
Wow.
That's a lot. But when you look on, if you looked on Stats 150, Stats Canada, they have suicides for
Young, yeah.
5-year-olds. They don't have that history of living in a chaotic world. They're living in our world that we force them in. And that's really important, to just let kids be, give them some decision making, even ask them to help you cook breakfast, not answer their questions right away, get them thinking and talking and guess, and don't act like you know stuff. Because a lot of times we just do it for quickness, for speed, and to hurry up and get on to the next thing. But we're cutting them short, and I don't mean to blame parents, but we can be more aware and be more at their level. And that stat's a 1 in 4.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. That's really crazy. And then this one says, in 2020, Kids Help Phone reported twice as many interactions, phone calls, texts, compared with 2019.
Wow.
That's all the lockups, right?
That's right.
Lockups,
Yep.
mandates.
Well,
So
it was people weren't able to go anywhere. The kids weren't able to have fun. Everybody was wearing masks. Crazy.
Fear and fear.
Yes.
And when you're in fear, you got no heart, and you don't want to be there, but they don't know why they're there, right? But they're switching. Then they got to try to adapt to that society, and then the kids try to become a mini adult.
Yeah.
And they shouldn't be a mini adult. Right?
Well, they still have a lot of growing up to do and everything else, and a lot, life experiences and things to learn. Like you were talking about Violet, she just learned about the spray can.
That's right. That's right. And now she can write a book. We made a publishing company too. So what I want to do too is we're getting a play set out of this. So she wanted a new play set.
Yep.
So when the book really took off and people in the town liked it, we said, let's print it. So
Perfect.
we printed 500 of them.
Okay.
Could I mention, I hope it's
Sure.
okay to mention, I hope it's okay for Mama Bears. I've been in communication with Mama Bears.
Sure. Yes, we're good friends with them too. So
With Terry. And I've got emails from Terry saying, your book is wonderful. A friend of mine posted it to her. Your book is wonderful. We're interested. We want to promote it. So
perfect.
And they do the homeschooling, right? They offer resources and alternative schooling.
And I'm sure School Pods Canada is going to want to get their hands on this.
Yeah,
as well,
it's a great one. It really is a great one. And it really, I want to let parents, again, be that fairy godmother a little bit longer and just let kids be kids.
No, you're coming up with a series.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Yeah. Yeah, we got a second book that's nearly ready. It's called You Are Energy, Connecting with Your Energy. And that one, yeah, that one goes into...
This book, we were talking about it a little bit earlier on the hill there. That sounds very interesting. It's about grounding and everything else. And, there is something to it.
Oh, there's definitely something to it. Yeah, we talk about the basics of like Albert Einstein and Nikola Tesla says everything is energy. So we look at the sun as focused energy. The aurora borealis, the northern lights is focused energy. We're focused energy. Lightning bolts focused energy. So we look at those sort of things and let people see that nature itself is intelligent, focused energy. If that focus on the sun dropped for whatever reason, we're done. But it stays, and that we're here and we're conscious and we're aware.
Now, you did a really cool little experiment with Violet. Would you like to talk to the people about that?
Yeah, if you got a voltmeter and an interested kitty, you can go out in the grass, put a coat hanger into the grass, get one lead of your voltmeter, put it onto the coat hanger, put the other lead of the multimeter in your hand, or give it to your child. Have them wear shoes doing this. So with the rubber shoes on, you got no connection to earth, right? So no current flow. You'll see infinite resistance, okay? So that means it's an open circuit.
Okay.
Yeah. So then you have them slip their shoes off and still hold the other end of that voltmeter, put it in resistance, right? And then you'll see the resistance going up and down.
Wow.
So it went up and down, like we say, it was around 2 megohms. So 2 megohms in a 9-volt battery is about 2 microamps, right? So that's the healing energy from the earth. That's your ground.
Amazing.
It's cool, right? So the book's got energy of the earth, energy of the body, energy, like that, energy of your thoughts. It's energy of 5G. 5G is in the book and the consequences of that, and even the existing internet.
For people watching at home, Dr. Mercola, shout out to Dr. Mercola because he's one of the top notch. He just had an article all about the grounding. A very interesting read.
Cool, that's cool. Well, now you can check it with a multimeter too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and go shoeless and all the rest. Yeah. Yeah. So, what else? I guess we can just say for those in Sarnia watching on First Friday, I'm going to be at the downtown market. They offered us a booth.
Perfect.
We're going to bring our sign, and if there's any out of towners from London or anywhere else, we can sell you the book if you can't make it to the launch. You can meet Vi and I.
So you're going to be doing a book signing?
Our poster. Yeah. Oh, yeah. If you get a book, we'll do a book signing. Yeah, our website is right here, ourbooks.ca.
So that's where everybody can pick up a copy of that book.
Yeah, check it out. There's parent resources on it too. Go to the resources page. There's a lot there for everybody. It's a high quality book. Yeah, that's what I got here. It's a hand sewn book, right? The book has a journal in it too. So it's the story. Then you got tips for helping yourself any which way you want to. Then there's a journal at the back, so you can journal your experience.
Perfect. You put you and Violet have both put some hours into making this.
Yeah, lots of hours. Yeah.
Getting it published and everything else. Phenomenal.
And even the promotion side is a lot of work too. So thanks to anybody sharing this. I'd really appreciate it. Hope to see you. And
everybody, go to ourbooks.ca if you want to pick up a copy. And Nick will be at the upstairs library July 9th. 2:30 p.m. For the book signing. So come out and check them out. Come say hi.
Cool.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Nick.
Thank you.
All right. So Nick, what do we have here? What is this?
Well, at the book launch, we're going to bring these mind switches. A mind switch. So every human being has a mind switch in your own head. This is just to remind you. So basically...